Hey, Don here with Invent Yourself Rich, doing one of the things I love, which is snowboarding. You can see that ridge down there. That's where I'm going to take off shortly. And if you look up behind me, here's Lone Peak, way up there. Beautiful view. Anyhow, I'm going to share with you a little bit about the snowboard invention. I think it's one of the coolest things out there, and I wish I had invented it. But anyway, let's take a quick look at the snowboard, and I'll show you what I got here. Okay, there it is. That is my snowboard. It's a new Burton, and I'm going to head down there. So let's get going and talk to you a little bit about this snowboard invention. Okay, I'm back from that wonderful trip in Montana, and just to set the record straight, I do wear a helmet. All right, I've been only doing this snowboard stuff now for 4 years, at 48 years old. And let me tell you, anyone can do it any age. It's not bad on your knees, and it's the coolest thing to be out there surfing down a mountain. Now, the reason I want to focus on this invention, because I'm passionate about it, but I also think it's an amazing product and how it all began. The word surfing down a mountain, which they call now riding, you go out, you're a rider instead of a skier, but when you surf down a mountain, it's basically what you're doing, and that's where the invention started. 1965, a gentleman by the name of, got a note here, Sherman Poppin. He was a big surfer, and he bolted together 2 water skis, and he created what his wife ended up calling the snurfer. He bolted them together, gave it to his kids, and they would slide down in these little snow dunes in Michigan during the winter. And that product, the snurfer, was taken over by a company called Brunswick, and they launched it way back then and sold over 1 million of them as a kid's toy. Now, remember the name snurfer, right? It's surfing with snow, snurfer. That's where his wife came up with the name. Well, one person that bought that as a kid was a guy by the name of Jake Burton, which we all know today, the Burton Snowboard Company. They are probably the most popular brand out there. High quality, great snowboards. It's exactly what I snowboard on, is a Burton. They make bindings, boots, all sorts of clothing. Amazing, amazing company. Now, that was started in 1977 by Jake Burton, who kept improving the snurfer. Right, so the lesson here is, a category was created which was first designed just for kids to have fun. And way back then they sold 1 million of them, right? But then it fizzled out and died. But Jake stuck with it and kept improving that product till eventually he created what is today pretty much the modern snowboard. And it wasn't until like 1985 when they started to allow people to actually use these things in ski resorts. So just think of the hurdle that Jake Burton had to go through, right? He had a great product, great idea, but you couldn't even use it in ski resorts till 1985. And then today, just about every major ski resort allowed snowboarding. It's become so popular. And the other thing that I think is just amazing, I just found out on that last trip I was on, is that the ski manufacturers are now copying the technology from the snowboard. How they use that parabolic angle and all the different waves and curves on a snowboard, the ski companies are using. So if you look at some of the new snow skis, they're really wide. I mean, I saw a guy out there in Montana, his skis looked like 2 small snowboards. They were so fat and so wide because it turns out they're really good on powder. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. It's one of my passions. Great little story, simple concept, but it came from something from the past that was designed for kids, and Jake Burton was smart enough to stick with it, and eventually created a very, very successful business on a simple invention that he pretty much improved. Okay, so there you go. And remember, you only need one good idea, and you too can invent yourself rich. Here we go. Woo! This is just beautiful. Woo-hoo.